Unit 1, Summative Assessment. What conclusions can you draw from the information below? Choose all that apply. Nitrogen is a limiting nutrient for the mangroves and the saltwort plants. The phosphorus is not a limiting nutrient for the saltwort. Due to the increase in the percent ground cover of the mangroves increasing, the percent ground cover for the saltwort had to decrease. Neither nitrogen or phosphorus are limiting nutrients. This is a 3-point question, so make sure that you pick 3 answers. My paper airplane traveled farther when the wings were larger. Which of the examples below is scientific reasoning that would explain why this happened? The smaller airplane only traveled 4.7 meters on average, but the larger airplane traveled 11.2 meters on average. The larger the paper airplane wings, the farther the paper airplane will travel. Will the size of the wings affect how far a paper airplane can travel? The larger the wings, the greater the ability to generate lift. The longer lift is generated, the further the paper airplane will glide. Mosquito repellent is sprayed on one arm and the other arm is not sprayed. This is repeated among a group of 120 trial participants. The number of mosquito bites is then counted after 2 hours of being in a wooded area. What is the dependent variable in the experiment above? Bug spray, number of bug bites, 120 participants, or one arm not being sprayed. The water level in a graduated cylinder rises from 12 milliliters to 47.8 milliliters when a solid lead ball is added. What is the approximate volume of the lead ball? Is it 59.8 milliliters, 45.8 milliliters, or 35.8 milliliters? How much liquid is in the graduated cylinders? In milliliters. Include the unit. So you're just going to type in your answer and make sure you put ml after the number. How long is the push pin? Include the unit. Again, you're going to type in the number with the unit after. 2 groups of students were tested to compare their speed working math problems. Each group was given the same problems. One group used calculators and the other group computed without calculators. What is the independent variable in the experiment? The number of math problems, the correct answers to the math problems, using a calculator or not using a calculator, the time it took to complete the math problems. What units would you use to measure the volume of a small cardboard box? Cubic centimeters, centimeters, or grams? A scientist plants 2 rows of corn for experimentation. She puts a new fertilizer on row 1, but leaves the old fertilizer on row 2. Both rows receive the same amount of water and light intensity. She checks the growth of the corn over the course of 5 months. what is one control in the experiment? The amount of fertilizer given to the experimental group, the growth of the corn, or the brand of fertilizer? What is the independent variable in the graph below? Is it the size of the bubble, the time the gum is chewed, the brand of bubble gum, or the amount of pieces of gum? Blank is the difference between the measured value and the scientifically accepted value. Is it the estimate is the difference, accuracy is the difference, precision is the difference, or the percent error is the difference between the measured value and the scientifically accepted value? For which of the following would the millimeter be the most appropriate unit of measure? Would you use a millimeter to measure the wingspan of a turkey vulture, the height of a player in the NBA, the length of an ant, or the distance between Cincinnati and Columbus? What would be a good testable question for the data experiment below? Does the temperature affect the number of chirps per minute by crickets? Does the size of cricket affect the number of chirps per minute by crickets? Does the number of chirps per minute by crickets change the weather outside? Or does the age of the cricket affect the number of chirps per minute by crickets? Blank are data points that do not fit with the rest of a data set. Is that called an inlier, an outlier, extremes, or trends? Which of these statements is not a good conclusion for the graph shown? Hubba Bubba gum blows the largest bubbles. Hubba Bubba is the brand most kids want to chew. All Day Chew blows bubbles twice as large as Trident. Big Red gum blows the smallest bubbles. A solid ball has a mass of 50 grams and a volume of 20 centimeters cubed. Using the formula below, calculate the density of the ball. Density equals mass divided by volume. Is the density 25 grams, 2.5 grams, 20 grams, or 0.4 grams? Testable question. Does the amount of sleep you get before a test affect your score on the test? Using the testable question above, check off each variable that would be a constant within the experiment. Select all that apply. The amount of sleep, the time the test is taken, the scores on the test, the type of test, math test, history, etc., questions on the test. In the water displacement method for finding volume, you subtract the final volume from the initial volume, subtract the initial volume from the final volume, you add the initial and final volumes, you divide the final volume by 2. What is the mean or average number of pelican nests per plot shown in the table? 142, 154, 56, or 188? What is the median number of pelican nests per plot on Cat Island? 142, 188, 132, 154. What is the mode of the number of pelican nests on Cat Island? 154, 142, 188, or 132? You want to conduct an experiment that focuses on changing the amount of sunlight a sunflower plant receives. You determine you will measure the height of the plant after 1 week, 3 weeks, and 5 weeks. What would your controls be in this experiment? Check all that apply. There are 3 controls in this experiment. The amount of sunlight sunflower plants receive, the height of the sunflower plant, the type of soil sunflowers are planted in, the amount of water given to the sunflower plant, or the species of sunflower.
Hey, I'm not sure why I hear anyone talking in the pit. If you're in the pit, you're funny.
What is shown on the x-axis of the graph? Boiling water in minutes, the volume of water in milliliters, the boiling time of water by volume, or a straight black line. Sarah couldn't wait to make a new flower garden in her backyard. She got the soil ready and eagerly waited for spring. Here is a table of what she planted in the new flower garden. Read the table and answer the questions. What is the total number of iris bulbs Sarah planted? 30, 237, 21, or 90? Sarah couldn't wait to make a new flower garden in her backyard. She got the soil ready and eagerly waited for spring. Here is a table of what she planted in the new flower garden. Read the table and answer the questions. Which type of flowers did Sarah prefer in the color pink over the other colors? Daffodil, iris, daylily, azaleas, or roses? Take the time to go back through the test and look at any questions that you are unsure of before you hit submit.